Welcome to the Flame Entertainment and Sports. It's your boy Rob here. Hope everyone's doing good out there. It's an exciting week here in Miami as Taylor Swift is finally here for the Eras Tour. She has 3 shows this weekend here at Hard Rock Stadium, home of the Miami Dolphins. She'll be performing Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. This episode comes out Thursday, recording it on Wednesday. So tomorrow night is officially night 1 of Miami, the Eras Tour. And, it's an exciting time. A lot of Swifties live in Miami already. A lot of them are flying, from different places, flying into Miami, which is, obviously a great thing for the community overall, for the local economy as well. Obviously, we've seen the impact, that Taylor's had on millions of people, right, with her music and all that stuff, but also everywhere she has these shows, like, it positively impacts the local economy as well. So that's a great thing. And I'll be at night 3, so the final show, Sunday night. They're at Hard Rock Stadium. It kicks off at 7 o'clock, and I think Taylor gets on stage at around 8:15. And for each of these shows here in Miami, she'll have Gracie Abrams opening up. And Gracie right now has actually been on a tour for her brand new album. She just sold out, I believe, 3 or 4 nights at Radio City Music Hall in New York. And now, fresh off of those shows in New York, she'll be performing this weekend here in Miami, starting on Friday night. And actually, Friday night, she's releasing a deluxe version of her album, The Secret of Us. So that's going to be super cool. I'm super excited that not only do I get to see Taylor Swift for the first time in person performing, but I also get to see Gracie Abrams for the first time as well. And if it wasn't for me, covering Taylor for this last year, I would have probably not known. I probably would have not known who Gracie Abrams is. With all that said, this is the intro. So I'm going to get more into it as we get into the entertainment. So yeah, in the entertainment world, it's going to be majority me talking about the Eras Tour here in Miami this weekend. And then in the sports world, we're going to go over some week 6 games. Obviously, I mainly cover the Dolphins on here, but of course we had a bye week. So there's not much to say with the Dolphins, but I'll look around the league and give my thoughts on a couple of the games that happened. A couple of big trades actually happened this week in the NFL as well. And then, the NBA is, preseason's been rolling now the last couple of weeks. And now, a week from now that I'm recording this, or actually a week from Tuesday, so next Tuesday, the 22nd, the NBA season tips off. So, I'll get a little bit into the NBA. Of course, the Major League Baseball playoffs currently going on. We have the conference championships happening right now. We have the Dodgers against the Mets and the Yankees against the Guardians. And I'm rooting, for an all New York World Series. I think it'll be freaking awesome to have the Mets and Yankees in there. With all that said, we're going to get into the topics now, starting as always with entertainment. And just a reminder, make sure to keep up with us on social media, on Instagram and TikTok at the @flame_ES. And yeah, now let's get into some more Eras Tour talk here with our entertainment section of today's episode. All right, guys. So in that intro, I was kind of talking like I was already, in the entertainment section of the podcast. So I had to stop myself before I got too long in there in the intro. So yeah, as I was saying, the Eras Tour is finally here this weekend in Miami. For those of you listening and that are already in Miami, just so you guys know, I'm recording this on Wednesday, but obviously, it comes out on Thursday. So today on Thursday from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m., Hard Rock Stadium has a merch store open for those who want to purchase some Eras Tour merch ahead of, the concert. So you don't have to worry about getting in those long lines or anything running out the night of the concert you're attending. And it's not only Taylor merch, but it's also Gracie Abrams merch. There's some pretty cool stuff. There's some, it looks really nice. I've seen some of the pictures all over social media, and I'm planning on going sometime, either after I record this on Wednesday or sometime tomorrow on Thursday. But, it's just an exciting time overall. I've been, covering Taylor and, Travis and Taylor in the Eras Tour since last September. And actually last September is when I purchased my tickets actually. And, it's just crazy, right? That it's finally here in a couple of days. I'm going to be able to experience this, historic show in person after, covering it for so long on Instagram at the @flame_ES. And yeah, I'm just super grateful and excited to be able to attend these shows. Obviously, tickets are pricey, tickets are limited. I was able, to have that to get in and buy the tickets right when they came out last September. I didn't want to miss out or risk anything, and thankfully, I was able to get them, and yeah, I'm just super excited. And as I said in the intro, Gracie Abrams, coming off a couple sellout shows in Radio City Music Hall in New York, she'll be opening for Taylor here in Miami. And you already know there's going to be a couple of celebs in the building. There's always that little area that Taylor has at her shows for her family and friends. And my biggest prediction, I think Camila Cabello will be in attendance. I don't know if she'll be at all three shows or one show. We'll have to wait and see. But I'm pretty sure she'll be at one of the shows at some point. And obviously, I think people are super excited to see Taylor perform Florida, off of Torture Poets Department album. And I think that's going to be super cool, to be able to experience that, hear her sing Florida in Florida. I think that's really cool. And yeah, no, I'm just excited overall. And I know there's always a couple, extra songs that she throws in, right? Some surprise songs. And the number one song on my list that I hope we get on night 3 is "Long Live." That's one of my favorite songs of Taylor's, and one of my favorite songs in general. So it'll be super cool to experience. But if it happens, I'll be excited. If it doesn't, I'll still be excited. I'm not trying to be picky. I'm just excited in general to experience this whole show in person, right? And yeah, as I was saying, Hard Rock Stadium has a merch store open today from 10 a.m. to 8 p.m. So if you want to go get your merch ahead of time, make sure to go do that so you don't have to worry about doing it during the concert. And yeah, Hard Rock Stadium. Obviously, I have a lot of great memories there. I go to every single Miami Dolphins home game since I was a little baby. So, great memories there. Mostly Dolphins. I would say, yeah, it's mostly Dolphins. I don't think I'm trying to think. I haven't been to a concert actually at Hard Rock Stadium. Usually, the concerts I've been at the Kaseya Center where the Heat play, or the Hard Rock Hotel. And I would say the non-Dolphin event I could think of was a couple years ago. Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, they fought over there at Hard Rock Stadium. That was pretty cool. But I just know the energy in the building is gonna be insane, and I just can't wait to be there with all the Swifties. And I have a custom shirt that I'm gonna be wearing, representing the Flame, and I'm just super excited. Overall, gonna have some friendship bracelets. I've never made bracelets like that ever, but it's part of it, and I want to experience all of it, and I'm just super excited to be there. I feel like it's just gonna be a night I'll never forget, and yeah, just super excited. Anyone who's gonna be there, make sure to comment on our Instagram or DM us at the flame_es. You want to take pictures or anything like that, we'd love to meet with any cool Swifties out there, and make some cool content with you guys for the flame_es on Instagram and TikTok. And yeah, obviously I didn't mention this in the intro, but as always too, I'm gonna be covering Dancing with the Stars today. I just forgot to mention it in the intro because I'm so excited for the Eras tour. But that said, I think that's going to wrap up my talk. I can't wait till next week so I can report back and let you guys know how my experience went on night 3. And for those of you going, I hope you all have a great time. Now let's get into some Dancing with the Stars talk. As this past week, we had night 5, which was the most memorable moments night. And it was a hell of a show. I feel each couple is getting better. And as time goes on and couples, get eliminated, I feel like the competition is getting tighter and tighter. With that said, we had a great guest judge for this night. We had Mark Ballas, of course, a Mirrorball champion. 3-time Mirrorball champion. And he's just a beloved figure, in the Dancing with the Stars world. He's been on the show for 20 seasons as a pro. It's incredible. Now to see him as a guest judge and, see him use his expertise and his passion for dance and for Dancing with the Stars is just, I think, an amazing asset to have, alongside the original, or the main judges, Derek, Carrie Ann, and Bruno. With that said, as always, I'm going to be giving my score for each couple of that night, followed with the actual score they received from the judges. Night 5 started off with Chandler and Brandon, who have been at the top, of this competition from night 1. They danced a contemporary, and another thing to point out, each couple was visited this week by a specific judge to help them out during practice, and Chandler and Brandon were helped out by Derek. They danced a contemporary dance. It was good. I enjoyed it as always. Watching this couple. But I would say it wasn't my favorite of their dances. But with a couple like this, like they were so good from night one that the expectations are so high. You know what I mean? With that said, I gave Chandler and Brandon a 30 out of 40, and they received a 32 from the judges. So look, me and the judges off to a good start together. After last week, we were kind of far apart on most scores, so that to start off pretty close with the judges is pretty cool. Then after them, we had an Argentine tango danced by another couple who's been at the top since the beginning, Steven and Riley. And the judge that helped them this week was Bruno. Steven and Riley, I enjoy all their dances. I would say this is probably my least favorite one of their dances. But they're also just like Chandler and Brandon, where they've been so good from the beginning that the expectations are just so high. I gave Steven and Riley a 29 out of 40, so 1 point down from Chandler and Brandon. And they received a 33 from the judges, which is 1 point above Chandler and Brandon. So look, me and the judges still pretty close there. Then we moved on to my favorite dance of the night, and I think most people's favorite dance of the night, from Danny Amendola and Whitney Carson. They danced a contemporary dance in honor of Danny's college football coach, Mike Leach, who passed away a couple years ago. And Danny just did an incredible job with his emotions, and each of us really felt his pain and his grieving, if that makes sense. And it was just an amazing dance to watch. I would say it's my second favorite dance of the season after Joey and Jenna's night 3 dance. And yeah, I gave Danny and Whitney a 38 out of 40, and they received a 36 out of 40. So congratulations to them. That's a couple. They've been good from the get-go, but they just keep getting better and better. And it shouldn't be a surprise because Danny Amendola is so competitive, and you can tell he's so committed and passionate, right? So I think they're just going to keep getting better and better, and it was just an incredible dance to watch. After Danny and Whitney, we had Dwight Howard and Daniela. I would say this was a interesting dance for them. I feel like it wasn't their best dance, but it wasn't their worst at all. I feel like the beginning part was great. Then in the middle, it got a little shaky, a couple steps off here and there. But then the ending was pretty good. I don't know if that explanation makes sense, but Dwight and Daniela danced a rumba. They're visited by Derek during the week. I forgot to mention Danny and Whitney were visited by Carrie Ann. But to get back to Dwight and Daniela, so they danced a rumba. I thought it was pretty good. I gave them a 30 out of 40, and they received a 29 from the judges. So me and the judges, it's pretty cool. We're finally back on track, I think, on the same page. Then after Dwight and Daniela, we had Phaedra and Val. I thought this was arguably their best dance of the season, Phaedra and Val. It was super clean, super simple, nothing extra or too crazy. I think Val kept it simple for Phaedra. I think she did an incredible job, and my favorite part about it was that Phaedra, she really made you buy into the character, right? She danced this rumba to honor her mom, but you really felt the emotions, right, and the love that she has for her mom. And I thought that was the best part of the dance. And like I said, I think this was this couple's best dance of the season so far, and they just keep getting better. With that said, I gave them a 32, and that's exactly what they received from the judges. Now we moved on to Brooks and Gleb, who were helped this week by Carrie Ann, and they danced the salsa. It was pretty cool, a cool moment. The beginning part of the dance, Brooks was dancing with her 3 sisters. I thought that was really cool, and that's a memory they'll have for the rest of their lives. In terms of the dance as a whole, I felt that it was good, not great. I don't know what it was. There are certain parts where I loved, but then there's just always something, for some reason, with Brooks and Gleb. There's always like a couple things here and there that kind of feel off. I don't know, when they're dancing together. When it's Brooks and Gleb separate, I feel that's their best, when their dances look the best, if that makes sense. With that said, I gave them a 30, and they received a 32 from the judges. Then we moved on to Joey and Jenna, who I think had the second best dance of the night. Joey and Jenna, you guys know how I feel about them. Obviously, like, this is a couple that just keeps getting better. Jenna's obviously amazing as always. Joey just keeps improving and showing that he's putting in that work week in and week out to get better and better as a dancer, and to help this partnership with Jenna, right? They danced. I didn't. Okay, these the last 3 couples here, I didn't write down the style of their dance, so I'm sorry about that. But Joey and Jenna, I thought they did a great job. Just like with Steven and Riley and Chandler and Brandon, right? the expectations are so high that this wasn't my favorite dance, right, of Joey and Jenna. But that said, it was still amazing. I gave them a 35, and they received a 36 from the judges. Then we had Ilona and Allen, who I just think keep improving. Obviously, last week, night 3, it was great. Their best dance of the year. Night 4, obviously, there's a couple missteps, but then, as always, Ilona is resilient, and she did a great job this week. She was helped by Bruno, and they did just an incredible job. Oh no, not by Bruno, by Carrie Ann. I don't know why I said Bruno. And with that said, I gave Ilona and Allen a 31. They received a 32 from the judges. Then our final dance of the night, Jen and Sasha, they danced for Taylor Swift. That's Jen's favorite singer. She's a big time Swiftie, and she just talked about how impactful Taylor's music's been in her life since she was a little girl. So I thought that was pretty cool and pretty unique, right? So yeah, Jen and Sasha, I really enjoyed their dance, and I gave them a 31. They received a 32 from the judges. Then you move on to eliminations. My predictions. Oh, and by the way, this is the first elimination of the season, right? Season 33, where we only had one couple go home. And my prediction was Dwight and Daniela. That was just my gut feeling. I made the prediction in the commercial break right before the results were announced. But that said, I was wrong. The couple eliminated was Brooks and Gleb. I think some people were shocked, but I feel like most people weren't. And it doesn't have to do with the dancing. I actually think Brooks got better and better as the season went on. I just think they were doing too much, if that makes sense, like too much of a couple type of thing instead of focusing on the show itself and on dancing itself. And I know I talked about that on here on the podcast. So yeah, next week will be night 6 of season 33. Time's flying by, and the competition just keeps getting better and better. It's crazy that I love this show so much, and I love covering it on here on the podcast. And look, I almost forgot to cover it this week because I'm so damn excited for the Eras Tour. But yeah, that's gonna wrap up our. Oh no, actually, I'm crazy. The most impactful moment. I have the Eras so much on my mind that I can't really think of anything else. But the most impactful moment, right, of Dancing with the Stars, night 5, season 33, was a dance by Derek Huff and his wife Haley, who she was on the show previously. I actually met her years ago. She was super cool. And after last season's finale, they had a scare where she had a scary moment. She lost half of her skull. The doctors thought that when she woke up, she wouldn't be the same. It was all, a heartbreaking situation. But that said, this was Derek and Haley's return to the ballroom, dancing together once again. And I know after this season of Dancing with the Stars, they're going to be going on a holiday tour. So that should be pretty cool. If they're coming to a town near you, I highly recommend it. I'm sure it'll be great. But yeah, it was a super emotional dance. And it was just so powerful, and so inspirational from Haley and Derek to do this and use their platform for good in the show that God is real and that prayers do work. So I'm glad I remembered that. But yeah, it's going to wrap up the entertainment portion of today's show. Talking some, Taylor Swift Eras Tour in Miami and some Dancing with the Stars season 33, night 5. Hope you guys enjoyed it. Now let's move on to the sports. All right, guys. So now in the sports world, gonna go over some games in the NFL, Week 6 games. Like I said in the intro, the Dolphins were off, so I don't have much to talk about. There was some big news this week. Mike McDaniel did announce that he expects Tua to come back at some point. He didn't give a date, but he does expect him to come back at some point to play this season again, 2024 season. With that said, within the AFC East, the Dolphins division, the Dolphins took possession. I don't know why I said custody of second place in the division after the Jets were beaten on Monday Night Football by the Buffalo Bills. Bills improved to 4-2. Dolphins are 2-3. Jets fought a 2-4, and the Patriots lost to the Texans, and they fought a 1-5 on the year. To stick in the AFC East, both the Jets and the Bills did make big trades this week. They each acquired each acquired one Pro Bowl receiver. The first trade was the Jets. They acquired Devontae Adams, the future Hall of Famer, longtime receiving partner of Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay. Now the two reunite in the Meadowlands in New Jersey. And then the Bills acquired Amari Cooper, who was number one receiver of Cleveland. He's been with the Cowboys, the Raiders, and he's had a really nice career as well. And I think both of these additions are going to help both teams. I think the Amari Cooper ad by Buffalo is going to be under the radar. Like some people are giving them credit, but then I see a lot of people talking trash about it, and I just think for the rest of the league, it's kind of scary that now Buffalo and Josh Allen they finally have a number one receiver again. After trading Stephon Diggs in the offseason. And with that said, they're 4-2. You add in Amari Cooper, they got a couple of those guys injured on defense back in the next couple of weeks, and Buffalo could be the serious threat that they've been for the last 5-6 years. So yeah, I love that trade for Buffalo. For Cleveland, I don't really understand it. I don't really know what they're trying to do over there in Cleveland. I mean, it's been a disaster so far. Deshaun Watson looks terrible. The whole offense looks bad as a unit, and then you go and trade your number one receiver for what was it, like a third round pick, I think. And then with the Jets and Raiders, I get it for both sides. Adams wanted out of the Raiders, and even if he wanted to stay there, I would have traded him because the Raiders right now are kind of in a rebuild type of phase. So I don't know what a 30-something-year-old like aging receiver is gonna do the last couple of years of his career on a team that's rebuilding. And why not join a team that is competing? The Jets are competing, and I know they're 2-4. But it's new, a lot of new chemistry, a lot of guys that haven't played together. I think this is gonna be super helpful, obviously, especially for Aaron Rodgers. Obviously he has Allen Lazard already, but now to add in another former receiver that he played with for a while, and Adams, I think that's gonna be really good for them. And now the Jets are back in the national spotlight again. Sunday Night Football, they play in Pittsburgh, and that moves us on to another big headline as Russell Wilson is healthy for the first time this year, and the 4-2 Steelers. It's looking like they may be benching Justin Fields this week and starting Russell Wilson on Sunday Night Football. And that's going to be a huge affair in general, not just for football. Sunday Night Football, Jets and Steelers. Russell Wilson first start as a Steeler. Davante Adams first start as a Jet. Donald Trump will be in the building. Elon Musk may be in the building. Antonio Brown and Le'Veon Bell, the former Steelers, they'll be in the building. So it sounds like it's going to be a movie over there in Pittsburgh. And I'll be, at Hard Rock Stadium that night watching Taylor and the Eras Tour. So Sunday night is going to be super eventful, and I can't wait to talk all about it next week on the podcast. Now to look over some Week 6 results for you all. All right, let me put the games here. So Week 6, I see a couple of games to talk about. The Lions, they picked up a massive 47-9 win over Dallas. Dallas is now 0-3 at home, and I believe in each game they've lost by at least 3 touchdowns, I want to say. So, I'm not really surprised by the Cowboys because when you look at their offseason, they regressed because they didn't add anyone. They lost Tony Pollard. Obviously, I know they extended Dak, they extended CD, but they didn't add anyone. And then you had other teams around the league adding people and improving. And then at the running back position, Rico Dowdle, he's done a great job. But then you added Ezekiel Elliott. You brought him back when he realistically speaking, should have probably retired a couple of years ago. So then it's kind of tough. Sorry, something happened there on my computer. It's kind of weird. Something was like updating. But so yeah, with the Cowboys, pick up a big loss. Detroit, picks up a big win. Unfortunately, they did suffer a huge loss, however, as they lost their top defensive player, Aiden Hutchinson. He broke his fibula and he's out for the season. Thankfully, he had a successful surgery, so we're sending him all our best and all the prayers in the world that he has a speedy and healthy recovery, as he's one of the bright young stars in the NFL. Let me move on. Let's see any games that stand out here. Tampa Bay Buccaneers moved to 4-2. Let's go Bucks. They score a whopping 51 points against the Saints. They win that game 51-27. The Baltimore Ravens did pick up a big win against the Commanders, 30-23. Washington, they're in it to the end. They fought hard, and they did it as well without their number one running back, Brian Robinson Jr. That matchup, I was able to watch like the ending, and it was pretty cool to watch. And not to get into that rookie quarterback conversation, another nice showing for Jaden Daniels. And then you move on to, I would say, arguably the biggest, or maybe the Commanders and Bears, I would say, are the biggest surprises right now, because they're both 4-2, right? And then the Bears, right? They moved to 4-2 after a big win in London against the Jaguars, 35-16. And Caleb Williams just keeps getting better as the season goes on. I think Jaden Daniels and Caleb Williams, they're not regular rookies that we're accustomed to seeing. They're more ready. I don't know if they're more mature, more willing to put in the work, and maybe they're just picking up on things quicker than other rookies in the past. But I think these two guys are super special. And then another rookie I want to talk about. His team did lose this week. Bo Nix, the Broncos quarterback. They lost to the Chargers 23-16. But Bo Nix, these last 2 weeks specifically, have been his best 2 weeks. And I want people to give him some more attention and praise because I think as time's going on, he's getting better as well. And then we have another rookie starting now, Spencer Rattler, who was originally the third string for the Saints. But obviously Derek Carr, he has a big injury. He'll be out for a couple weeks. He got his first start this past Sunday against Tampa. And he looked, I think he exceeded expectations in that start. So it's super exciting to see a rookie class of quarterbacks picking up on things so quick in comparison to other rookie classes in the past. But yeah, I think that's gonna wrap up, our NFL talk. Now let's talk a little bit about the NBA as the season begins next Tuesday night, October 22nd. We have the New York Knicks playing in Boston against the defending champions, the Celtics. As a Heat fan, this game specifically, I mean, it doesn't do much for me as a Heat fan. Obviously, I think that makes sense, but I understand the matchup. The Knicks have gotten better the last couple of years. Obviously, now in the offseason, they added Mikal Bridges and Karl Anthony Towns. So, big names on national TV. I get it. Then, obviously, Boston is always, the defending champs always have to have that first game at home on national TV. So, congratulations to them. Obviously, going to hang up another banner. And then the players are getting their rings. So, congratulations to them. And then the 10 o'clock game on Tuesday will be the Timberwolves at the Lakers. I mean, it's not a shock that the Lakers get it. I don't understand. I know it's LeBron and whatever, Anthony Davis and Bronny's there, I guess. But what did the Lakers really do last year to get this opening night game? I don't know. Minnesota, I understand. They had an impressive season. They just keep getting better. Anthony Edwards, arguably the best young superstar in the league. And, it's going to be two interesting matchups. But my real season starts Wednesday night, October 23rd at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time as my Miami Heat play host to the Orlando Magic here at the Kaseya Center. And that night, Pat Riley will be honored. And from now on, it will be called the Pat Riley Court at the Kaseya Center. Congratulations to the GOAT, the Godfather, Pat Riley. Thank you for everything you've done and will continue to do for the Heat. Thank you for all the lifelong memories that we'll never forget. And yeah, it's going to be great to see the Heat honor Pat Riley. And yeah, I'm super excited for the Heat. We're a team with a lot of young guys and a couple of veterans, obviously, right? Like Jimmy, like Kevin Love, Duncan Robinson. But then you add in these young guys who just keep getting better, like Jaime Jaquez, Nikola Jovic. And obviously, Tyler and Bam are going to keep getting better. Terry's healthy, Scary Terry. And then, a couple of these young guys we brought in this year, like Khalil Ware, a couple of the undrafted guys, I think they're going to be really good. And I'm super excited, as always, for the Heat and super confident as we have the greatest basketball coach on the planet in Eric Spoelstra. So I'm super excited. Let's go Heat. Now let's move on before I wrap up here to the MLB playoffs to see where things currently stand. Right now, we have the National League Championship Series going on between the LA Dodgers and the New York Mets. The series tied at 1, and now the teams are heading to New York to battle off, and the Mets were able to pick one up on the road, which is huge. And then in the American League, the Yankees are currently up 2-0 against the Guardians as they win their first 2 games at Yankee Stadium at home. And now Cleveland will look to bounce back at home in front of their fans in Cleveland. I've watched pieces here and there. It's been super exciting to see what the Mets have been able to do. They snuck in on the last day of the regular season. And right now, actually, as I record this Wednesday night, they're looking to take the lead against the LA Dodgers in the championship series, which is just incredible to think about, right? So, yeah, I think that's been a great storyline. And especially, I said it in the intro, I really want to see the Mets and Yankees in the World Series. Just imagine that. World Series out in New York, back and forth, Citi Field, Yankee Stadium. Just that in-state, in-city rivalry, whatever you want to call it. I think it'll be historic, and I think it'll be one of the most viewed World Series of all time, really, when you think about it. But yeah, guys, that's going to wrap up the sports segment for today's episode. Hope you guys enjoyed it. All right, guys, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode of the Flame Entertainment and Sports. Once again, for all the Swifties coming to any of the Eras Tour shows this weekend, Have a great time. Once again, I'll be there Sunday night, and I can't wait. It's going to be a great time. Make sure to keep up with us on social media. We'll have a lot of coverage for you on Instagram at the flame_ES of all the Miami Era Tour shows this weekend. And yeah, make sure to subscribe to us on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you're listening. Share with anyone you think would enjoy this episode. And until next time, everyone, take care.